How are you guys doing? Well, there's this chain store, which is a jewelry store, and they're supposed to have about 300 locations all over. And it's called Michael Hill. And they're supposed to have originated in New Zealand and then moved on to Australia. And then they're supposed to have a lot of locations in Canada and not so much in the United States. I've been into their stores before. I find them snotty. They have that jewelry store snob about them. I find that you don't see any authorized dealer signs anywhere. Like you could go into a typical jewelry store, you might see signs up like Tissot, Seiko, Citizen, even Movement watches and Daniel Wellington. But you don't see that in Michael Hill. All they sell are watches with Michael Hill on the dial. So they're not an authorized dealer for any brand, just that they have Michael Hill on the dial. So I was in the store yesterday and I asked them, I said, who makes the watches that you sell? And they said they're made by Michael Hill. So they put forth that these watches are a brand. Michael Hill is a brand like Seiko, Citizen, Tudor, Rolex, Hamilton, Omega, all these brands you guys know. I find that hard to believe. We'll just go through some of their watches here. To me, they look pretty generic. Prices like really high prices here. Hundreds of dollars for these watches. They look like familiar fashion brands that I've seen around that are basically Alibaba, AliExpress. And you get into the specifications, they're not all that wonderful. And they never really tell you the specific movement it's got. But oh yes, they're Michael Hill. I guess they would have you believe they're their own company that manufactures these things. So are they in-house movements? Who knows? But I think that they're just generic brands that are made in China, and these brands, generic brands, just put Michael Hill on the dial, and they pretend that they're their own brand. That's what it looks like to me. But here's typically their watches. You can see the prices of them here. I don't particularly like the look of their quality. I don't think they look like quality watches to me. I've seen them right in the store. And what I looked at in the store is I could go on AliExpress and get something that looks just as good for under $100, really. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to assume anything. I got my gut feeling about it. I got my impression about it. But what I'm going to do is ask them straight up the questions I have here, and what you're probably wondering too. Look at that, 300 stores worldwide. Our buying power means we have exceptional value built in. Well, I don't think that's very much value when I'm... Okay, you guys, so I got on their customer service page here on their website. I'll just go over with you what I asked them, just a few basic questions. So customer service, contact us. Just went into product inquiry, my YouTube channel name, YouTube channel address. I don't think I need to put a phone number. They can just answer me by the email address. So here's what I asked them. Where are Michael Hill watches manufactured? What country are these watches manufactured? Do these watches have in-house movements? What are the specifications of any one of the watches' movements, for example? Is there an actual Michael Hill factory? So, as far as I feel about this, I think the watches are just made in China, like I mentioned. I think they're just generic watches, not much different what you'd see on AliExpress, or maybe just a plain fossil type watch. And I'm not saying fossil watches are bad, but you don't pay $1,000 for a Fossil watch, right? Because you're not getting your money's worth if you pay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for one of those watches. So if they don't understand those questions, they can write back and ask me. They're pretty straightforward questions. So, like I mentioned earlier about Australia, it says right here on the address here. Like I mentioned earlier, about 300 stores worldwide. But anyway, I'm going to send that off. Oh, another one of these verify things. What are we trying to verify now? Traffic lights. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Bridges now. It's such a prestigious store, eh? Yeah, right. Okay. So it says, thank you for your message. Our customer service team have received your inquiry and will get back to you shortly. In the meantime, please browse our frequently asked questions to see if the answer to your question is there. Please allow additional time for us to respond on weekends or during peak periods such as the holidays and Valentine's Day. Let's just take a look at their frequently asked questions. Oh. Okay. Just going through these frequently asked questions. Like when I was in the Michael Hill store, I just found them. I found it to be the kind of store that would sell, like they sell all kinds of different jewelry that's their own name brand, I guess. But I found it's the kind of store that sells to people that don't know anything about watches, don't know anything about jewelry. Those kind of people. Impulse buyers, right? So let's just see here. Anything interesting in their frequently asked questions? Not really. Do you do repairs? Let's just see what that is. We offer repair service on jewelry and watches purchased from Michael Hill only. Please take the item to your local store and they will be able to provide an estimate and advise appropriate time scales for the repair. I bet you they don't repair anything there. I bet you it's sent out somewhere. If they did it, I bet you charge you a lot too. How do I care for my Michael Hill watch? No matter which Michael Hill watch you've purchased, I wouldn't recommend you purchase any. We know it's more than a way to tell time. It's an expression of your style, a hallmark of an important life accomplishment, or a gift from someone special. With basic care information, your watch will stand the test of time. Let's just see what that says. Watch manuals. So it just gets you going here. Just pretty generic there, isn't it? Well, when I order a watch from AliExpress and I go on the website on AliExpress, if I were to order a watch, this isn't much different than what I see the sellers put down some things and about the watch, and a few things in the little paper they send with you. Let's go to frequently asked questions on that. Well, anyway, I wasn't very impressed with their watches when I went into the store. I thought they were overpriced. And they just reminded me of other generic watches I've seen that were much, much, much cheaper. And if you're a person buying a watch for someone as a gift, you know how Christmas is coming up. I would say do not buy from Michael Hill. I don't recommend it because you're going to get snobby treatment from them. They think they're a lot more than what they really are. They're like they think that they're a high class place, really snobby, and they're not. They're not any different to me. They're not any different than buying off of AliExpress. And I'm going to tell you, if you want to buy a watch and you don't know anything about watches, you want to buy one as a gift, go into Walmart, go into a discount department store, and buy something like a Timex, a Casio, a cheaper Seiko, a G-Shock. G-Shock is Casio. You won't go wrong buying any of those. I would suggest you stay away from watches like Movement, Daniel Wellington, these Michael Hill watches. If you get a Fossil watch, don't pay extremely high price for it. Because there are some nice looking Fossil watches, but don't pay like $400 for them or whatever, $300 or $400. Don't pay that. If you go on the internet and you don't know anything about buying a watch, you want to buy it for a friend, like relative Christmas present, you can go on Amazon and get a well-known brand like Citizen, Seiko, anything like that. Don't get some weird fashion brand. And I would say you can even save more money by going down to AliExpress. They're not necessarily going to have the well-known name brands, but they're going to have the Chinese brands. And their prices are low enough that even if you buy a watch off AliExpress, if you could buy a $25 watch, I have a feeling that you're going to get a watch that's almost as good as what you would get ripped off on for $300 or $400 on these kind of places. Because I just don't have any faith in this place. But we're going to wait and see what kind of answer they give, and we'll go from there. I think they're going to give a non-specific answer that will just confuse the reader even more. That's what I think they're going to do. I think they're just going to give me here an answer of maybe a mumble jumble of stuff and don't really commit to any kind of answer. And really, they may not answer at all. So we'll just look and see. I'll give them lots of time. I'll give them a week and see what they say. And we'll just go from there and find out. So thank you for your time, you guys. And I just don't recommend you buy from Michael Hill watches, jewelry, or whatever they're selling. Because you're not going to get treated very good in the stores anyway. So I hope you guys will have a good day.